Hello and welcome to 5 for the Future for the week of October 2nd. As a market researcher, futurist, and small business consultant, I read a lot. And I start to see common threads in all these news stories overlapped with small business owner concerns that I hear every day, which is what motivated me to start pointing these things out to anyone who will listen and who cares about the longevity of their small business. So thanks for listening and caring. Are you ready to get started with the 5 topics for this week? Let's start with our number 1 story. New modes of transportation. Nope, no flying cars in this one. We're going old school with delivery drivers in big cities scaling down from vans to pedal-assisted electric quadricycles that take up less space. And a new high-speed passenger train service going from Miami to Orlando. It's almost like we're trying to catch up with Europe from 20 years ago. Meanwhile, on the West Coast, Waymo is expanding its robotaxi service from San Francisco to the LA area. And air travel is just no fun and getting worse as the airlines make it harder to enjoy your air miles or get into their airport clubs. Maybe we'll see a faster TSA screening process in the future, but despite the huge time savings in this new process, there's also a huge upfront cost and the need to completely rework the security area in any airport for these new automated security cubbies. What do you think the future of transportation will look like for you? All right, moving on to story number 2. More big businesses with questionable ethics. This time with 3 different industries because apparently I was super ambitious this week and couldn't stop reading. So first we have real estate. Not only are private equity firms screwing over college students, that's a quote, by building luxury apartments with super high rents while colleges downsize their room and board offerings, but also while new apartment construction in general is at a record high, nearly all the new apartments are high end. Very few options for low-income renters, or for first-time homebuyers, especially in the Vegas area, where hedge funds are buying up all the starter homes for rental income and keeping the actual homebuyers from building wealth through home buying. Moving on to big tech, where one of the top donors to a conservative political group is also, coincidentally, the biggest owner of TikTok, and now Republicans, coincidentally, don't want to ban TikTok. Interesting. More in the newsletter, including some questions about a Tesla-funded glass house for Elon Musk. In the finance department, Citigroup is preparing for layoffs while a former Wells Fargo exec is sentenced to probation for the fake account scandal from a couple years ago. It feels like the theme of profits over people prevails in big business. Perhaps a mention of this could be a way to promote the value of working with small businesses who are not beholden to stockholders, focus more on quarterly earnings than on long-term relationships. And with that, let's move on to story number 3, incorporating AI into the workforce. Lots of details in the paid newsletter, but let's just sum things up by saying that everyone is on board for AI these days, with big tech firms spending big money on AI acquisitions and planning to incorporate AI into their existing tools and software. Expect to see AI personal assistants coming soon, but they're not quite ready yet. Are you ready for AI? How are you using the existing tools to help your small business? What? You're not? Why not? It's time to set aside some time to look into this. All right, moving on to story number 4, diversity. Yes, it's a politically charged topic, but it also pays to be aware of what's going on. The key points. While several lawsuits have been filed to strike down race-specific affirmative action for businesses and eliminate grant programs geared toward diversity, it has been shown that these initiatives are actually helping to grow many industries that were not diverse to the benefit of the entire industry. In other related news, more female police officers might address our broken policing system that is currently lacking candidates. And it's a good thing that boomers aren't leaving their jobs too early. Warren Buffett recently retired Rupert Murdoch, our current president, because apparently Gen Z and millennials are not happy and are more likely to quit unless they get higher salaries and more flexibility. And I am sad to report that while the top dream job among teens in China is astronaut, here in the US and the UK, it's YouTuber. What does our future look like? What do you want the future of your business to look like? Start thinking about the diversity in race, gender, and age at your own workforce and how that might impact your business in the future. And finally, our final story, number 5, small business and the economy. Conflicting news stories came out this past week or so about whether small businesses should worry about the economy. A recent Chamber of Commerce survey shows that 2/3 of small business owners say their business is in good health and expect to see revenue increases next year. More and more people are starting new businesses, and local banks are working hard to grow SBA loans. That's all great. But small business bankruptcies are on the rise, labor shortages aren't going away, and big banks are not lending to small businesses. Is any of this news really new? I'm just not sure. It seems like this sounds a lot like past reports. So my key lesson for you, forge a good relationship with a local commercial bank. All right, thanks for joining me for this week's 5 for the Future. And of course, consider subscribing to the paid newsletter to get more details, all the links, and my full take on each of these 5 topics. Reach out to me and I'll share a free newsletter with you so you can see what you're missing out on. Again, thanks for joining me, and I'll hope to see you next week.